I should be.
Okay. Okay, YouTube is good. We are all set. Let me know, Scoop. It's being buggy again.
Looks like it's working for me.
Okay, perfect. First off, I would like to apologize to both of you. I would like to send my dearest condolences. It's Monday morning.
Yeah.
I was not planning for this at all. I know we did a Monday morning show last year, mostly because of the Chargers. We did a Chargers pod at our past employer, so that's why we did it so late. This was not intended at all. Scoop had a long drive. I'm extremely tired. Brandon's probably also extremely tired.
Yes.
But we're gonna try to do this as quickly and as efficiently as possible. I very much apologize, but you can blame it on the Denver Broncos and Washington Commanders for having a shitty 4 quarters of football. And I was like, you know what? We normally record during overtime. Let's stay. I have a feeling something interesting is going to happen, and it did, Brandon. But are we out on Denver? Are we out or no? Or
I
are we
mean,
getting
it's.
close?
I'm not out, but I'm getting close. Just because that offense and the way it's run, that can't win a Super Bowl in my eyes. The play calling is way too complicated just for a 2 yard run play. They're running a lot of rollout plays for Bo Nix that I don't like. I don't like when you constantly cut off half the field for a quarterback and you're asking him to then have to have to pick up a 2nd and 8 or a 3rd and 11. It's like it doesn't work. You're getting behind the sticks on 1st and 10, and then you're asking him to get you 15 yards in one shot. It's not. It's just not good. And then even when they do get into manageable downs and distances, the play calling is still bad. Like you're running. The receivers are ending like where they're finishing on their routes are too tight together, only a few yards apart from each other. So it's easy for the defense kind of to just swarm into one area and knock the ball away, which is what we saw a lot from Washington tonight. It's just that offense is that defense is fantastic, but they also kind of let Marcus Mariota do quite a bit tonight, and that was unexpected. So that defense can only do so much before it gets tired. And I'm not saying that Denver's offense has to be great; it doesn't have to be, but it's got to be. You got to play complementary football, and we all know that. And when you're struggling to score 20 points against one of the worst defenses in football, that's a problem. Especially when you've got guys that have a lot of chemistry with Bo Nix. You've got R.J. Harvey, who's a good rookie, who's had a good rookie season. That line didn't look great tonight. You can't get to playoff football and play much better teams when you get to that stage and expect your offense just to all of a sudden turn on in the fourth quarter or late in the fourth quarter
or overtime.
Yeah, you can't. It just can't happen. It's not. You're not going to win even one playoff game playing that way. So we'll see. I'm not. I'm not. I'm getting there, but I'm not out. But I am getting there. The offense is pathetic to watch. So
yeah, we are. I'm getting there as well. We are going to do the complimentary football game. I'm just going to look through the playoff picture and ask you guys if you think they're playing complimentary football. The Broncos clearly aren't, Scoop. Are you like us where you're kind of teetering on being out, but you're not there yet? How are you feeling on Denver currently?
No. And I can say it this way. So this is what, week 12, week 13, something like that?
Week 13, yeah.
Week 13. All right. Well, I put that in wrong in my Instagram.
Oh, you're fine. We're tired. I don't care. It's fine. We are so done.
But anyway, the reason why I asked that question is because I feel like every time we've done this, like every week we've done this show, sometimes more than once in a week, I think, we say that we're out on somebody.
But that was kind of my initial thought. Is I think we've said we're out on like 25 of the teams.
Yeah,
maybe 30, maybe 28.
And probably the remaining ones that we haven't said that about, we were never in on to begin with. So
100% in, I would say, yeah.
So I can't keep saying, I can't just keep being out on every single team that on week 13 still has plenty of a chance to get to the playoffs.
Yeah, they're going to make the playoffs at this point with a 10-2
right.
record.
So I mean, shucks. I mean, we were even saying, the other day, we were saying the Rams were the runaway favorite. I'm sure we'll talk about them in a few minutes, but we were saying the Rams were the runaway favorite to win the NFC and probably the whole thing. And we'll talk about why, that
changed.
We'll follow that up. I'll without spoiling anything, I'll say we'll follow that up in a little bit. But I just think in general, I think we got to just stop overreacting to every single thing, because I genuinely think if you look at all four of us, and I'll include Shane, who is missing in action tonight, but if you look at all four of us combined, I would venture to guess at least one of us has said that we're out on probably 29 of the 32 NFL teams.
And see, that's my thing with it. It's a representation on how rough the league has been, right?
Yeah, my point being is that if the landscape is that balanced because of imbalance, if you want to put it that way, then that automatically puts me back in on several of those teams.
I think it's totally fair. Absolutely. Yeah. I was thinking about that earlier. It's a mess. The league is a mess. But I think that's part of it. Like, I feel like we're always doing our version of overreaction after a game kind of situation, because I don't really know how else to cover the league this year. I really don't. Like, I don't know. Do you guys feel the same way? Because I don't know. There's no team that's doing a string of good games or a confident string.
You know what I'm thinking of too, and I think Shane said it in the chat. The playoffs this year are going to be matchup heavy. How do these teams match up against the teams they're facing?
Yep.
So because right now, the only teams to me that I can see winning it all that don't have like severe enough problems are like the Rams, the Seahawks, maybe New England, and those are probably my three. I think everyone else has really bad problems. So,
I would have thrown one more team in there, but I agree with you.
Who would you throw in?
I would have thrown in Detroit.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that is absolutely fair.
I just don't trust Detroit's defense at all. Like, and then when the thing is, when they get to big games, they don't show up. So that's
even not trusting their defense. Even if we want to say that, they're still rated as one of the top 5 defenses in the league this year, and they're still considered a top 5 pass rush. Still considered a top 5 pass rush team. Still considered a top 3 rush defense team. Like at some point, at some point, it's not just do they and this is kind of where I pull back the eye test, the analytic, that type of thing, because it may not look good to the eyes, but if it doesn't have to. If it's still one of the best compared to what else is around it, then it's still one of the best, even if you don't think it looks like a top 3 best team.
Well,
I think absolutely. I think absolutely, considering where the league is, right, Brandon? Like, considering where
considering where the league is, I'm just worried about that every quote unquote like big game they've had or primetime game they've had, the defense hasn't been there. That's what I'm worried about. So like, it's this is the same team that got beat by division-wise, it's a division game, but got beat by a bad Vikings team. They got beat by a bad Chiefs team. They gave up 24 to a bad Bengals offense at the time. Got beat by a rough, not beat, but gave up 30 to a rough Ravens team. They had that big game against not us, against the Giants. Gave up what was it, like 350 yards to Jameis Winston. And then last week,
I will say, to be fair, Jameis Winston, this is a guy who has led the league in touchdowns in the past. Jameis Winston, just because he became a backup quarterback doesn't make him suddenly a bad quarterback.
No,
he's just inconsistent. Like, he's the epitome of inconsistency in this league.
He's definitely inconsistent, but even inconsistent can throw up a crooked number.
He can. Yeah. Even though like that's the thing is like, he still threw a pick in that game and still only completed 50% of his passes. There's no way they should have gotten 27 points out of that. Like, that was just really bad. The fact that game got to OT and also in Detroit is pretty rough.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I mentioned.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm interested to see what they do against the Cowboys, because the Cowboys come to Detroit this upcoming week. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
on
definitely.
Thursday night, that's going to tell us a lot.
yeah,
Their top 4 defensive performances, according to what I've got PFF up here, show up as Cincinnati and Cleveland makes sense, but then Tampa and Philly. And Tampa and Philly, at least to most people, have 2 very solid, rosters. So, and I know Philly's been poorly coached offensively, and I know Tampa Bay has been injured, but again, you have to play who's on your schedule, and so
Yeah, that transitions to actually, Scoop. What was the question you wanted to ask about the Rams? Go on that right now, because I think it's
yeah,
important.
so that kind of segues perfectly into this, and again, I kind of alluded to it in the intro here. The Rams, they lost today to the Carolina Panthers, which
Who have
I'm,
won 6 of their last 9, by the way,
yeah,
somehow, some way.
that was the next thing I was going to bring up is, we were all laughing and talking about how, oh, that's going to be, how's the line, only 11 or whatever it was. We thought that was going to be a 2 to 3 score game. Carolina is 6-3 in their last 9 games.
Isn't that
Carolina,
insane?
Carolina has been quietly winning and beating some good teams. Like, it's and you can take what you want from the game. What some people are going to say it's a trap game. Every great team loses one game that they shouldn't. Some people can say that. Other people are
Not in
making
week
more out of it.
13. Not in week 13. It's week 13.
I know. I'm just saying that people are reacting differently to it. Some people are saying that this is more of a perhaps opening or exposing a way for teams to play LA down the line. So you can whatever school of thought you take, the facts are the facts. The Rams, who a lot of people were considering as the favorite to win the NFC, lost today to the Panthers, whom a lot of people for a while were considering one of the worst teams in the NFC. So I think some of this is just kudos to the Panthers, because I think the Panthers, even if they're not going to end up being a great team or even a very good team, I think the Panthers definitely have not been taken seriously the way that they should have been after some of their earlier wins this season. I think that even if you're not going to become a playoff threat, that doesn't mean inherently you're not a team that's capable of stacking W's and at least playing a very good spoiler. But again, this I won't say exposes, but this brings to light some areas of vulnerability that LA hasn't really shown the same way earlier this season. And does that mean it's going to become something that's more of a, where there's smoke, there's fire? We don't know that yet. We have to see how these next few games go. A lot of people are going to look at this and say Sean McVay and, Matt Stafford are going to get back to the drawing board. They're going to be fine. It's going to be something they're going to bounce back strong from, and then they're going to go and put up, crazy numbers over the rest of the season. And that's entirely possible. I think that Stafford's one of the best quarterbacks in the game. I think McVay is one of the best coaches in the game. But that all being said, I'm not the same level of confident about the Rams that I was a week ago. I don't think you can be after watching that. And let's also, I'll bring up the Birds from out west for Rob and Shane.
Yeah.
Even when they lost to the Rams, you can make an argument that that the Seattle, for as poorly as they played, did not lose by a margin congruent of a team that played as poorly as they did. You can argue that they actually scored better than they should have relative to how poorly they played.
And we made that argument at the time as well.
I know you did, and that's why that's why I'm lending credence to that argument that I maybe should have back then. So and so one of the teams that this definitely makes me think, look at as perhaps more than I should have, or look at them more uh, favorably than I already should have been, is Seattle. This does make me look at Seattle as, oh, okay, maybe did they uh, deserve more respect than they were getting. But again, like I said, I just don't think, I think we've been looking for this entire season to grasp onto, who's going to be the team to beat this year. I just don't think there is one. I think
No,
we just
there
have,
absolutely isn't one at all. Yeah.
but I think to even another level than we realized, I don't even know if there's a favorite to win either conference right now. And I agree with what Shane said about it's going to come down to matchups. I think it's going to come down to health. I think it's going to come down to who gets hot. I really think it's going to be as quote unquote simple as those things, because I'm not looking at any of these teams right now and thinking my team and bless you, and I'm not saying Philly here. I'm just saying my team as in whoever I would be rooting for, and saying there's no way my team can beat that team. I'm not saying that about. I'm not saying that about really anybody of who if I'm a fan of any contending team right now, because I think any of these contending teams could win or lose virtually any game.
Yeah, and then again, we've done the schedule game throughout the whole show over the last month of like, all right, what do we think about this team schedule? What do we think about this team schedule? Because as Brandon said, it's like it's a matchup dependent thing.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the rest of the way, my body armor is smacking my throat for some reason. What the hell? No, but
that's what my coffee's doing over here.
I know, but so my eyebrows kind of go up with Seattle because I really wasn't that happy with Seattle today. Honestly, I really wasn't. That offensive line is so horrible. And again, like I don't know what Sam Darnold's looking at when it comes to pressure. Like he just has no idea what to do, and it's just like.
Did the ghosts come over with him from New Jersey?
I think he's always had them. Like that's my thing with Seattle. Like I like Seattle. I think of them as a contender, but I'm like, oh my god. Like honestly, Seattle. If you look at a lot of teams in this league, they don't have that same. A top contender doesn't have that same problem with pressure at quarterback. They, like from just an eye test perspective. With the Rams, though, I'll be honest. I felt that Carolina didn't do anything special. They didn't do anything unique at all. Excuse me, Jesus. I'm so tired. My glasses are falling off. They just didn't do anything special.
Like, you know what that game really was? Like Panthers won by 3, but and this is like why, like Matt Stafford, that was the worst game of his season. Like he had 3 turnovers. So, to me, like the only way that the Rams, like that game doesn't concern me for the Rams. It just concerns me for like Matt Stafford. But it's like every quarterbacks do a bad game, and that's why we defend certain quarterbacks over others, obviously. But like for the Rams, like that's uncharacteristic of Matt Stafford. So like unless he does that again, I don't worry about his play going forward at all. Like he's just not that kind of guy. I mean, I give credit because the Panthers did force those turnovers, but it's weird when you force that many turnovers. It's weird because it's the same way that like the Rams beat the Seahawks they were talking about. How do you force 4 interceptions and only win by 2? So like it's just weird how this season has gone. But I think for the Rams,
but again, it's nothing special. Like honestly, it's nothing. Like
that Rams Panthers game to me is a whole lot of nothing. Just because it's
But does it have to be special to be successful though? Is the question.
Well, okay, but here's where I have the issue, right? You can't. I don't believe there's a way in the modern NFL to say this is the blueprint to beat an NFL team by just doing basics. That's not a realistic thing. Because any team can do the basics and win a football game. That doesn't tell me anything. And maybe that's what the whole league is. The whole league is just people being basic, which is part of the issue.
So here's what I will say. I was paraphrasing what I heard on the radio because I was listening to AM radio, which the quality sucks to begin with. So I may have gotten the phrasing wrong that the individuals on there were using, but basically what I meant the context of it was basically that areas of what LA was more vulnerable in for for teams going forward to try and attack those vulnerabilities. Not like a certain level of creativity or things of that nature. It was just like, is that making any more sense?
Well, yes, but the issue, I when you told me that, I was like, what game were they watching? Because I don't like. Yeah, vulnerabilities, sure. Like the secondary is bad. We've mentioned that for weeks. Otherwise, it's just a bad Matthew Stafford game. Like they did nothing. The Panthers did nothing unique. Hell, we were talking about the Panthers. Yeah. We were talking about the Panthers last week on Monday night, right? We did the Monday night game. We were here last Monday night talking about the Panthers, and we we're like, it's nothing special. It's not that great. Like, it is a referendum on the Rams a little bit, but Stafford just had a bad day. Like and again, it's not excusing the loss. They're still they're back in the pack here. They were a little bit up here. Remember, we were talking about on Thursday or Friday, and knocks them down a peg. But what? Like, it's nothing. Like I don't know.
Like the thing is like, like when I watch how like Josh Allen performs, right? Like how bad he's been over the last month. That's when I worry about like, this is a flaw, like an actual flaw. Matt Stafford, like that was his first bad game of the year. If it becomes a pattern, then I'm gonna get worried about them going forward. Like the only like you're saying, Rob, the only thing I'm worried about going forward is just that secondary is really bad. But like that's it.
But again, we repeat this all the time, and it's annoying. I know, but a lot of these weeks have been repeated. A lot of these teams' secondaries are bad. What the hell do we do with that? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I just do not know at all. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, well, I really don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, you talked earlier about complimentary football.
We're gonna get to that. I got a game for that in a minute. I got
I'll save this point for later then, because maybe it'll be answered when we play the game.
All right, we'll do the game right now. Let's do it.
I'm down for it.
So we're gonna do this a lot quicker than I wanted because it's freaking 12:30 in the morning. Let's go. This is ridiculous.
I'm good. And Brendan didn't work till 5.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I know, but still, Jesus, what the hell? Thanks, Commanders, for a weird game. Seriously, why? All right. The question is, I already kind of know the answer, but I guess we're trying again with these games. We're kind of trying to prove a point. The game, I'm going through the playoff picture. Tell me if these teams play complementary football or not. Broncos.
No. Because that offense can't move the ball when every week they're struggling to move the ball.
Yeah, I'm going by the seeding in the playoff picture. By the way, the Broncos are first as of right now. Scoop, go ahead.
I'd have to say no. Also, based on what we saw tonight.
The New England Patriots.
Yes.
I think it's a slight yes, amazingly.
I think it's a yes.
I'm torn because I don't like their running game and I don't like their running defense. So if they don't,
I don't like their roster, let alone their defense. I don't like their roster.
I think for what their roster is, and the thing is, the defense is doing just enough to keep them in games, and then the offense is doing just enough to win. That's why.
But that's my point. They're doing just enough against the teams they're playing up through the first 12 weeks. You can't. That's not going to work in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's not. I'm just thinking right now.
I'm gonna go no.
I think that's fine. Really, I do, because I'm at a slightly, and I'm like at a very slightly.
Yeah. So what?
No, it's like when I think of the phrase complementary football, I'm thinking of like different parts playing off one another. And if anything, I think there are parts of this team that are inhibiting their progress, not advancing it.
The NFL, let's go 3 through 10 in the AFC. You're going to see here in the playoff picture. It's a whole bunch of weird. It's a whole bunch of nonsense.
Yeah, it's weird this year.
Starting with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Did they play complementary football? Do you mind if I jump in and give an answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
They do once a month.
That's what I'm. That's what.
Yeah,
That's, what
that's literally what it is.
You know why? Because they have like it's weird. Like when you look at a lot of their games, like they'll have games where it's like okay, both sides are clicking perfectly, but then it's like okay, then you fast forward 2 weeks and they look like the worst team in football. But then but then after that they rattle off 2 or 3 straight wins. Like it just goes back and forth.
In fact, the way that you just described the Patriots, where they don't do anything poorly enough, but they don't do anything well enough. That's how I actually would describe the Jaguars. Because I think over the course of time, like I think that, in fact, you know what? I would argue that the Jaguars are the perfect, like you know how like the median, so you've got like the equidistant from one end to the other. I would argue the Jaguars are the perfect median team for the NFL this year because on any given week you can get the best out of anybody, and on any given week you can look like how have you not been relegated to a league that doesn't even exist?
Yeah, true.
You know what's funny? While you were saying that, I was thinking, you know, for this version of the NFL, for this 2025 version of the NFL, that's a Super Bowl champion. Like it kind of is, but it's not. But it kind of is.
You know,
like are the Jags going to hoist Lombardi? No, but it kind of feels like it the way you describe it. Kinda.
I mean, if you again, so similar to what you just said, if you asked me who's the worst team that you could still see having a path to the Super Bowl, it probably is the Jaguars.
And that's honestly stupid because I don't like Trevor. I don't like how that offense runs. I don't like anything about that team.
Come to think of it, when I think of the Jags, I'm going to say slightly no, just because Trevor Lawrence has been really bad this year. So I'm just going to say
he's been awful.
I'll say slightly no.
That's fair.
I'm convinced. I'm actually gonna say a complete no because you can't do it once in every 4 games.
Yeah.
You can't just we choose this team. Hey, let's beat you by 30, and then let's lose by 30 the next week.
And like his touchdown interception ratio is not good, and his completion percentage is below 60.
I mean, you say complimentary football. I guess the wins complement the losses.
Yeah, but you know what else too? It's like
Scoop, stop making them look like a Super Bowl winner. Stop.
You know what's
Please
crazy
stop.
too?
They're not.
Also,
Stop.
Trevor Lawrence has at least 1 turnover in 4 of the last 5 games. By the way, so.
Are you going yes? Because are you going yes or are you going no? Scoop, are you?
I thought you were talking to Brandon.
No, Brandon and I both say no. Are you going? Yes?
I went slightly no.
Slightly no.
I'll go 51% no, 49% yes.
There we go. That's perfect. That's the Jaguars. That's the Jags. Scoop just explained the Jags better than anybody in this country. There you go. The Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah. No. Scoop, are you taking no as well? What are you doing?
I'm trying to when you guys give me these names, I actually think about it before I say it because I didn't know what the segment was going to be.
Oh, my bad. I thought I sent it. My apologies.
Mm-mm. You said you had a game. You didn't say what it was.
It's been a long day. I probably sent it in the wrong group chat.
Yeah, you only said game. You didn't describe what game it was.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. I didn't describe what game it was. So I alluded to it. I didn't describe.
I just don't want to be like spitballing, but okay. So slightly long-winded answer. No, however, I think they have the ability to do so. We just haven't seen it enough because of Trevor, or because of Lamar Jackson being hurt.
I agree. I think that's a good answer. That's a good answer. Good Family Feud. Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. The Los Angeles Chargers. They're the same Chargers every year, guys.
Oh, because see, the way Scoop feels about the Jaguars being right in the middle is exactly how I feel about the Chargers. It's right in the middle. Oh my god!
If I was like 51% no on the Jaguars, I'm like 52% no on the Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's kind of
what are these percentages? How much analytics did you do on the road back home?
But see, here's the thing, and excuse me, sorry. Well, most of it was how to get through the frickin' blizzard, whiteout conditions, snow through Ohio and Pennsylvania.
We'll get to we will get to your experience. I want to know the whole story. We'll get to it. We'll get to it at the end of the show.
But anyway, and the only reason why the Chargers, what's saving the Chargers for me is that I like their coaching better than I like Jacksonville's.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah. So are you? So you are going. You are.
I'm
tilt no on the Chargers, but
yeah. Actually, the more I think about it, I'm gonna say slightly no, just because what do we say about Justin Herbert every year? When does he ever show up?
Yeah. Like I just think in this day and age, a quarterback can rescue a coach more than a coach can rescue a quarterback.
Yeah.
Have fun with this one after today. The Indianapolis Colts.
Oh,
Daniel Jones should not have played. I'm really pissed that he played. I'm so upset that he played. I understand everything going on with the division, but it looked like his leg was in quicksand.
He couldn't move.
He couldn't do anything. You know how we say like Tom Brady's a statue in the pocket? The guy was like a pyramid. Like a pyramid in Egypt, just stuck there. It was insane. I like no.
Daniel the Sphinx Jones.
Why are Indiana Jones, right? Go see all these tombs and stuff.
Yeah.
But here's my thing, guys. How did the doctors allow him to play? I will never understand. I don't get it. Are
they the same doctors that were there when Andrew Luck retired after 6 years?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, actually, I think
the thing is, if he's not hurt, they win this game. That's the thing.
Yeah.
We'll see. See, that's the thing. But as for complimentary football, I'm going to go no. I don't like their defense enough.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Yeah,
no, and we've said the same thing about the Colts, particularly Brandon and I, when it comes to Jonathan Taylor. As we have all said about the Bills for the last 4 years, the Bills are next on the list. They played the most perfect game possible that we always want them to play, and guess what? They're not going to do it for the next 6 weeks. It's not going to happen again.
See,
this world doesn't need to know my thoughts on the Bills again. No, next.
If we got this version of the Bills every week, I would say yes. But we
not only would I say yes, Brandon. I'll go a step further. Not only would I say yes, I would say they're the best team in football, and they will hoist the Lombardi Trophy in February. But they will not do this again for the next 6 weeks.
We've said it for 3 years now, Rob. We've said it for 3 years. If they just played like this, they'd have a Super Bowl by now. But they don't do it. Oh my God. Yeah, it's no. It's no.
They are not going to play this again for the next 6 weeks. I bet a lot on that. The Houston Texans.
I mean, they look great defensively, but offensively they can't score. So I would say no. I mean they've got weapons to use, and I guess they're still the tricky part is they're trying to figure out what to do with it because Davis Mills. It didn't look good with CJ Stroud. Then he gets hurt. Now it's Davis Mills for 3 weeks. Then CJ comes back today. Like there hasn't been enough continuity. Like the defense early on was good, not this good, and then the offense was bad. Now the defense is really good, but at this point in the season, but now the offense is still kind of just stuck. It's just there. So I think that because the offense kind of hasn't grown with the defense this year, I'm going to say no.
I'm also going to say no. Scoop, what is your brain twirling over there? That's a bad phrase.
I was so confused by that.
This one's tough. It's tougher.
This is tough, and honestly, I'm gonna say yes.
I don't hate it. I really don't. Go ahead. Go ahead. Explain why. I don't hate this.
Yeah. So honestly, the thing where I'd like to see them be better, if anything, is actually more so than on offense. I'd like to see their special teams be better.
Yeah.
But I mean, this isn't the year. This isn't the 2019 MLB season. This isn't the year where everyone's going to be throwing up, 50 homers and putting up these crazy numbers off. It's just not that season. This isn't the year that Peyton Manning threw for 5,000 yards. So you winning games, you're not going to need to be. We talked before the show about Chicago that has scored at least 26 points twice in their last 10 games and they're 9-1. This isn't a year where scoring 30, 40 points a week is going to be what it takes to win. And if I'm talking about complementary football in terms of doing what it takes to win in all phases of the game, I'm gonna say I lean yes for Houston, but again, I want to see more out of their special teams unit.
Yeah. We dropped down a massive peg. According to the playoff probability odds, the Texans are the last team with an above 50 odds at 62. Yeah. We head to 29, and the team is the Pittsburgh Steelers at 29%.
Oh. I mean, they're complimentary bad on both sides.
They're complimentary bad.
Because the defense has been the worst, like one of the worst ever in Steelers history. Like they just it's just TJ Watt and nothing else.
And TJ did not have a great game today.
And no, not today. Yeah, I mean Darius Slay is a healthy scratch. They went out and got him in the offseason. DK Metcalf is one Popeye's biscuit away from being a tight end. We know that.
Yes. Have you never heard that phrasing before, Scoop?
No.
DK? Yeah, it's like a common thing.
Well, yeah, it's because it's.
I mean, you're in Seattle. I imagine you've heard it more up there than I've heard.
Yes. Well, I've actually heard it more from Brandon than anybody, to be fair.
Oh, that's funny.
It's the phrase they used to make fun of Kelvin Benjamin when he was a Panther.
That's true.
I forgot Kelvin Benjamin existed.
That's because that's the phrase they used for him because he was so big and out of shape coming into camp. They're like, yeah, he's one Popeye's biscuit away from being a tight end.
I forgot he existed.
Yeah, so that was the phrase they used for him. So that's why I use it, and it's true because DK is out of shape right now. He's not as explosive as he once was. He's out of shape, So they're complimentary, but not in the way you want to be. Like that's like the bright spot on their offense right now. I mean, it's two guys really. What is it? It's Darnell Washington and it's Kenny G.
I love Darnell Washington. I wish we could create like an award. Like I want him to get like some type of NFL award because he's a left tackle playing tight end and it's amazing.
Like
it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. It's so good
for that position, but it works.
It's so good. It's literally the best thing I've seen in the league this year, minus that catch today.
I mean, listen, so that's why I'm just like, you know what? Is there a spot for complimentary bad? Because that's what they are.
Sure, complimentary bad. I'll second that. Give me complimentary bad.
Yeah. We just talked about a team that I needed to see more from their special teams, and I think the Steelers. On the other hand, the only thing that I like about them is their special teams.
So complimentary bad is your answer too. Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Man. So Steelers fans maybe don't expect a 9-8 record this year. Maybe not. Sorry,
we're doing just barely make or miss the playoffs. This is what happens every year.
That would be the most Steelers thing ever. He's basically Mike Tomlin went from future Hall of Fame to like the AFC's version of Jeff Fisher.
Thank you. I was going to say it if you didn't.
How do you forget Kelvin Benjamin but remember Jeff Fisher? What is happening? I love it.
Bro, how do you forget the Beatles and remember the Wings? You're talking to the same guy here.
Yeah.
The team, one of the two teams that I couldn't see play for the first half because of the stupid sunlight, with 37% playoff probability. Yes, 37%, which is a lot more than you would expect according to NFL.com. The Kansas City Chiefs.
How are they at 37 at this point?
They're above the Steelers, and the Steelers actually have a shot because of that division.
I mean, you know what's funny is as weird as bad as they've been for their record this year and has been as bad as it's been as a whole, they actually still do play complimentary football. They do.
It's kind of weird. Yeah,
because
it's like I like everything about their team until they actually have to be watched.
like
it's
Kansas
so
City,
true. It's so true. That's the
Kansas
perfect
City,
explanation.
like
Oh
Kansas
my God.
City, like their DBs got too handsy in the Dallas game that cost them. But overall, their DBs are good. Their defensive line's good. Linebackers are still decent. The offense, I mean, outside of Patrick Mahomes missing a couple throws every game, the offense can still, is still kind of scoring. Travis Kelce's still involved. Rashee Rice being back is huge for them.
And he's still capable of making those ridiculous throws behind his back and under one leg and over the other and just whatever the hell.
Yeah, bird box challenge throws. Yeah, so it's weird. They do, but they're not winning games. They're the one. I think that's the outlier. They're the one team playing complimentary football that's not winning.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we're unanimous yes here. Our next category, do we care? The teams in this category are the teams that are left: the Dolphins, Bengals, Jets, and Brownies.
Nope. No.
Maybe the Bengals.
Maybe the Bengals, but they have to win out. So they could. They have to win out.
I love how this is the part of the season that's the best part when it comes to the playoff picture. You look at like 2 or 3 teams at the bottom that should be in the eliminated category, but they're not.
They're just hanging there.
The Dolphin. Is this like less? Yeah, I think it's like Dolphins less than 1%, Bengals 2%, Jets less than 1%, Browns less than 1%, or whatever, just 1%.
Wait, can we find out what the scenarios have to be for them to make the playoffs?
Wait, sorry, say that again.
Can we find out what the playoff scenario has to be for them to get it in? Like those 4 to get in?
I mean, we'd have to play the bracket game that they have on ESPN, but
because
you know what I love about this? Really quick, you know what I love about this? I love how everyone else has 1%, but the Bengals have a measly 2%. They have 1% better of odds according to NFL.com.
And the reason for that 1% is they're not the Dolphins, Browns, or Jets.
Yeah. You actually have a competent quarterback. So
as long as he's not dead.
Yeah.
The teams that are eliminated in the AFC, I apologize for your fandom. The Raiders and the Titans.
Can I go back and answer to the 4 that you just mentioned?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'll do this really quickly. Dolphins can't protect a quarterback who needs probably to be protected better than anybody else in the league. So no there. Jets, first time in this sentence has ever been said, but they got much better at quarterback when they put in Tyrod Taylor. But
yeah,
I can't wait for the Browns one because you were at the game.
Oh.
Okay, well, so here's the thing. Watching this team today, as I've watched them for the whole season,
in person,
in the middle of what would be one of the worst snowstorms to hit 47 states, but it's just another day in the states of Ohio and New York. This team has a defense and a special teams combination that could go on a playoff run.
Oh, yeah.
The problem is that they have an offense that couldn't beat a JUCO team if the JUCO team showed up after going through a bus crash and everybody becoming quadriplegic.
It's so true. Oh, shit.
Oh, man.
Okay, so that's a no. How about the Bengals?
Bengals.
The Bengals on Thursday, maybe.
What version of their defense is going to show up? Is it going to be that version of the defense going forward, or is it going to be the third one?
Yeah, and that's where I'm at. The what have you done for me lately, as in the last 72 hours, Bengals? Yes. The Bengals before that couldn't find complimentary in the dictionary.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Anything you'd like to add on that, Brandon?
Yeah, the Bengals were complimentary for one game. But
yes.
It's like all right. I listen. I mean, this is the same spot they found themselves in like each of the last 2 seasons. It would not surprise me if they went on a run and won like 4 of their last 5 and was like 8 and 9 and just missed the playoffs. It would not surprise me at that point.
This
Like-
show is going exactly how I would expect. We're just drowsy. This is great. We're so done. NFC side, the Chicago Bears with
No.
Caleb Williams throwing like 50 some odd percent.
You know what's
Did
funny?
you-
It would be complimentary if Caleb Williams didn't suck. But he does.
They are literally the NFC version of the Browns.
And
have
they're
the
first in the AFC.
They
Or
have
the
the
NFC, they're first in the NFC.
They have the defense. They have the defense, the special teams, and the coach right. They just have a quarterback that everybody likes unless you've actually watched him.
Yeah.
The Bears are the 1 seed, though.
They can. The thing is,
Somehow.
they can run the ball really. But that's one thing with the Bears all year. They've been able to run the ball really well all year, and they've been able to play good defense to keep them in games. But when they've
But
Yeah.
like for example, and I'll kind of join together the Bears, but also with the experience with an experience that I had today, or that I had today in Cleveland, because I've seen it happen also in Chicago. The flaws that happen, or the problems that happen with the Bears defense, are because they're on the field 30 minutes at a time.
yes.
That's
Yes,
what happened today in
100%.
Cleveland.
That's
Literally,
what happens every week in Cleveland. You just saw it in person.
literally for today, they got the ball back. They turned it over almost immediately. They got the ball back again. A different player turns it over almost immediately. Shador didn't get the ball even in his hands before either time the ball was turned over.
Yeah, we literally can't talk about Shador today like we planned to because there's really no point. Scoop,
No,
can I ask
but,
can I ask you a question? This is kind of
What's up?
in terms of the game of the game you went to and of the stuff we talked about. How was seeing someone's bum get pushed in real life? Was it okay? But like it was a fumble.
That is an insane way to ask that question.
I mean, but it was a bad play.
I mean, I've interviewed Mark Sanchez. It's kind of the same thing, but
Oh
Jesus.
God.
but in all seriousness, I mean, it was weird watching the play done by another team. Like I'll just say it. It was weird watching it because like in my mind I'm thinking leave it to where it's supposed to be done, but then the team that's doing it the last 6 weeks doesn't look like they know how it's supposed to be done either. So, it's just, again, I would have liked to see it for the first time in Philly, but I mean, again, I can't say I don't want the play to be banned and then say only we're allowed to run it. Like,
Nah. Yeah, so I just thought I was immediately like, is Scoop okay after watching that? I don't.
Yeah. You texted me, and I'm like, I'm not okay, but that's far from topping the list of reasons why.
Okay, so that's so funny.
I'm
that
not
you
okay because
compare-
it's negative 27, and I'm watching the team get clobbered that can't keep the ball in their hands. That, excuse me, wouldn't know how to hold an offense if like a geriatric holding his piss.
It's actually a pretty. I love that Scoop has pissed off everybody in Chicago by comparing the Bears, who are number 1 in the NFC, to the Browns, and you know what? He's right. So there we go.
Anyway,
I guess we kind of answered this about the Rams. I still think it's a yes at this point.
So do I. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll give kind of almost the opposite answer that I gave with the Bengals. They were doing it until today. Now they need to get back to doing it. I need the Bengals to do everything they were doing since Thursday, and I need the Rams to do everything they were doing before Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna say something really weird here because I just saw this. This is really weird, and I'm very confused. So the playoff probability meter for all these teams, I'll just run it through you guys here. The Rams are at 96%. The Eagles are at 95%. The Bucks are at 86%. The Seahawks are at 93%. The Packers are at 88%. The Niners are at 92%. and then the Lions are at 42. The Cowboys are at 16. The Panthers are at 16.
Yeah.
The Lions are below 50. That's interesting.
Yeah. What's the outlier? I didn't mention the Bears. The Bears have a 76%, which
Okay.
I don't really understand.
Is
Is it
that-
just
is
the
that-
schedule?
I think that takes into account the schedule. They
It
still
does,
have-
and they've had. I don't like the phrase "cupcake schedule," but they've had one of the easiest schedules so far. But it's about to get harder.
And the thing is, I showed you guys 4 of the last 5 are against not just really good teams, and then out of those 3 of those,
They're
5,
division teams.
they're division games.
Yeah, and also I will say, because you're talking about strength of schedule real quick, and I'm not going to derail the conversation, but Brandon made kind of like a side comment about how's Philly at 95%. This team still has several wins against division winners and playoff teams on its resume. I know we've sucked the last couple of weeks, but the record is still the record. This is still a team that has put themselves in a position to really move forward.
Yeah, as Scoop knows better than any of us as the analytic guy on this show, the analytics don't care about the eye test. They don't care what we see on TV. They just care about the statistics, right? So,
it's not only that, but it's also like the one issue that I have with the eye test is that it's so recency biased that
it's very fragmented. Is kind of the word that came to mind.
That's a good way to put it. And it's just like it's so easy to have what was most recent or what was most jarring stick in your mind the most, and kind of because that's what's in the forefront, you kind of start to forget some of the other things that, we talk about. Like, and the last thing I'll say on this is, like, just as an example, we talk about the Rams being the team to beat right now. Who was the team that was able to make the play at the end to beat them?
Yeah. Speaking of Philly, Philly is amazingly a hard no for me, and they're third in the conference.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, they're definitely a no from me, because again, this game's about what they're doing right now. It's the game, because that's how you describe the game. I mean, if the game were having done over the course of the season, I think you could make it an easier case. But it's again, as of right now, no, they're not. That's literally the fundamental problem, is that they're not doing that.
Yeah,
It's the only reason why they're not 11-1 right now.
Yeah, and Brandon, I assume you agree with your frustrations with this offense in particular.
It's pretty much just the offense. The defense got gashed against the Bears running game, but the defense has given them plenty of opportunities week after week after week after week to either put games away or just get any points whatsoever, and they don't.
It's another example of a defense that starts to chip away. It gets chipped away at a little bit because they're on the field so damn much.
Yep. Yeah. They're
100%.
exhausted. They're just exhausted.
Yeah.
So at that point,
and then I'll throw Denver in there. We saw that tonight in full display. Right?
But you know what it is? It's like both those teams, they like, the reason why they don't play complimentary football is like when your offense can't really move the ball for much of the game, and when you're I think they said Philly over the last 4 or 5 weeks is averaging 15.5 points per game.
Oh, God!
Like that's
modern NFL.
Really,
Jesus!
Over the last 8 weeks, if I remember correctly, the number was like 20.5 points per game, and it was like identical to the average of points allowed. Like they literally were.
Yeah.
They were 4-4 in the last 8 games, and the points allowed and points scored was like 1 point different max.
Yeah. I can't believe I'm going hard no with the team that's third in the conference, but as you guys have aptly pointed out every week, this team is a bigger mess than the record would showcase.
I would argue, or not argue, but like I will say, of all the teams that I say no on, they are the team that I could believe that within 2 weeks I could be back to a yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do agree, but that would
Yeah.
have to include firing Kevin Patullo or at least demoting him, which I don't think is going to happen. Or he somehow magically gets a play calling genie in his head. How about we do that? Thank you.
Yeah.
So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I was really weirdly in that game against Arizona today. I'm like, is this just the Rams in disguise? This is what the Rams are. And why I say that is this. I thought to myself, these are two teams that are over aggressive to a fault on both sides of the ball. It's just, and I'm just like, okay, being over aggressive as we saw with the Rams, and even a little bit today with I mean, look, the Bucks kind of struggle with Arizona. Like there's no way to put it any lighter. They pretty much struggled at times. It wasn't that clean through four quarters. The over aggressiveness to a fault is what's hurt the Bucks in their losses, again, to the Rams last week being the apt example, and then obviously what the Rams had this week. They're more similar than they are different, and that's not a good thing. Scoop, do you agree with me in any way?
I'm going to be honest. It took me a second to actually understand what you were saying.
It's more just I feel like both of these teams are just way too over aggressive for their own good, and that's why I feel like they're similar.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, honestly, when you said over aggressive at first, I actually thought the comparison you were going to make was going to be to Detroit. But what happened? I heard
that could count, but I think Detroit. I think Detroit does it on fourth down in particular because we talk about their fourth downs. I'm talking about every play. I feel like every play these two teams do it the most.
I see what you mean. I see what you mean. That being said, I'll put it this way. You are as your quarterback goes, right? To a fault, come hell or high water, unapologetically, Baker Mayfield's going to be an aggressive quarterback. This is a guy who went head to head with a friggin' safety and thought he could win the battle back in Cleveland. So I agree with the fact that they're going to be a team that plays that way, and it's going to not work sometimes, But again, I've seen plenty of teams this year play not to lose. I'll take a team that plays to win.
Yeah, and I think you can say the similar thing for the Rams as well. Brandon, how are you feeling on Tampa Bay?
Yeah, Tampa's interesting because I mean it's just 1 minute their defense is falling apart. I mean a lot of that's they've been heavily injured all year. But
that
was a point that I was going to make. Also was they're
one of the only teams that deserves the injury excuse because it's like it feels like it's almost half their roster.
Yeah. It's been like key players. I mean, especially on the offensive side, it was Bucky Irving for a long time. It's Mike Evans now for the long. Mike Evans is basically cooked. It's Chris Godwin took a while to kind of come back. I mean, he's been injured a lot.
Mike Evans has turned into Mike EA
Sport. It's in the game.
It's true though. But it's like, then you got Baker with the arm issues that he's been dealing with and some slight injuries. So it's like it's I mean, even their offensive line, I think Tristan Wirfs was hurt this year. So they're, but the thing is when they're on, like that's the thing is when they're on, they do play complimentary football. When they're off, they don't. So it's like, and the injuries kind of play a factor. So like when I'm thinking complimentary football with them, I'll say slight yes, because I'll go yeah.
Because I'm gonna say yes also.
Because when it works, it works, and when it doesn't, and when it's as injured as it is, it doesn't. So it's like I don't kind of blame them for the issues here and there, but it's and the thing is that they lock in when they need to. In a lot of these games too, in a lot of big games. So I'll say it's like a slight yes at least.
Yeah. I'll skip a couple of these teams and go to the 49ers because I think it's important to provide this distinction. The Niners, from an injury standpoint, are much different than what Tampa Bay has gone through because it's year after year after year, correct? It's so much different.
Yeah.
There's a difference between being bit by the injury bug and having been born with a genetic predisposition to injuries. And that's basically what their team is. And there comes a point where if you know that what you're going that what your DNA is going to predispose you to injuries, then I'm sorry. And this is one thing that where I think Kyle Shanahan gets more passes than is warranted. No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to call you a great coach because you can deal with injuries that you have known are baked into the way that you play for almost a decade. Like at that point, part of your coaching identity needs to be knowing how to handle those injuries, or optimally knowing how to get better at preventing them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Scoop, you saw the 49ers in person. I know it was pretty much a blowout for the 49ers, but what takeaways did you have on their side?
Here's the freaking thing. Here's what was frustrating is that game did not feel like a blowout at first.
It wasn't.
Not even on TV. No way.
No, and let's just say, I know plenty of people have said it, but let's just say it. Brock Purdy and Mac Jones are not the differences in talent that their contract situations should indicate that they are. They're not. Respectfully,
fair. I still would rather start Purdy. I don't think there's a reason to have a quarterback controversy.
It's Brock Purdy.
Let me back up. I'm not saying I wouldn't start Purdy. I would start Purdy, 9 out of 10 times. I'm just saying that I should be starting somebody 13 out of 10 times if I'm going to pay him the money that Purdy's getting.
Yeah, I think we can all agree with that at this point.
Yeah, but anyway, going back to what I was going at, like this game was 10-8 at one point. Excuse me. And two of the scores that they got were because of a crap snap and because of a stupid ass decision to snap the ball to Harold Fannin. What the actual hell was that? In a snow game where, excuse me, I think that my cheeks had color for the first time in 25 years. Like, I just don't understand what the idea was there. I love Kevin Stefanski, but whoever made that decision, I don't know what that was where that came from. I don't know what that was about. But the 49ers didn't break the gift box that was handed to them by the Browns. That's what today's win was.
Yeah. Last question on the game, kind of just going full circle. What is it like to see the specimen that is Myles Garrett in person?
I was really grateful that I got to watch, him, not just see him out there, but actually see him do his thing a couple times. Again, in a league that we all know has a dearth of defensive, just true standout defensive players, especially since Aaron Donald retired. It's really awesome. I think that he's well positioned to break the TJ Watt record, as we all know. And
it's Strahan still has that record, right? Is it Strahan still, or did TJ get close? I don't know.
No, I'm pretty sure TJ Watt shares it with Strahan now.
Yeah.
Oh, I believe it's tied. Yeah, no, you guys are right. It is tied. Well, Garrett's gonna break it, so there you go.
Myles Garrett has a chance to break the NFL sack record. He's only 29, and he's 80 away.
Yeah, So again, like I said, as somebody who loves watching defensive football, and somebody who
no wonder you went to a Browns game then.
Yeah. It's really cool to get to see that in person, and I hope he does, and I hope he does it I hope he spends his career in Cleveland. I hope he gets his name up there with guys like Joe Thomas and Clay Matthews.
Oh, he's going
and Lou Grossa and all those guys.
Oh yeah. He's already a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Now.
And damn it, Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski, please get this guy into the playoffs.
Yes.
This guy needs to be on TV in January.
Please get this guy with a competitive team so we can watch it in January. 100%. 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that guy's got some juice I need to be seeing in January.
100%. But yeah, we'll get to more of that game in a little bit.
Thanks.
So that's a no on the 49ers, mostly because of the injury hospital that they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's even a no beyond that. I mean, I just straight up don't like their defense. But like it's a no for more than one reason, and so that's all I need to say, I think.
Yeah. The Seattle Seahawks. Oh my God, I'm struggling with Seattle in a lot of ways, and we kind of mentioned it earlier, but it's like
It's funny to me that the Seahawks fans saying that. Meanwhile, for the first time, I'm definitely saying yes.
Here's why. I'm not trying to be like counter like into it, or I'm not trying to be like a hater or anything of that sort. I love this
I would have
defensive
never
line.
thought that, obviously.
I it's a joke that I'm secretly a Seahawks hater on this show. I'm not trying to be. I'm just trying to be as objective as I can. This defensive line is amazing. I agree with Brock Huard. That's probably, which this sounds crazy when he said it, but I thought about it. I was like, that's interesting. It's probably the best defensive line in Seahawks history. It's saying a lot. Because the depth is really good. It's a great defensive line. The secondary makes a lot of mistakes, but how are you in the NFL for and again, a lot of it is the Seahawks.
I'd like to see your tackling get better. I'll say that.
Oh yeah. It's always been the case. It's been the case for a long time, even in the Pete Carroll era towards the end. But the thing is, yeah, that offensive line is bad, but I genuinely question, for how many years has Sam Darnold been in the NFL now? Is this like year 7 or something? 8 years? Yeah. I don't think he knows how to do pass protection checks at the line of scrimmage. I don't think he even sees when pressure's coming before the snap. I just don't. I don't understand that. You're 8 years in the NFL. I don't get it. I could be wrong. We can ask Shane more about this tomorrow, because I do want to get his thoughts, because he watched the full game and he's watched every game in full. Obviously, I'm watching Red Zone. I'm not seeing the Seahawks games in full as much as he is. But yeah, just I'm really concerned about that offensive line and how Sam Darnold can handle pressure. It hasn't gone better. In fact, I think it's gotten worse than it has in Minnesota. So for that reason, I have to say no. And it pains me, but it's so bad. The Vikings are a team built to stop the Seahawks in so many ways that Shane will cover tomorrow, and obviously they didn't, because Max Brosner just had kind of the day you would have expected, unfortunately. But even without that fantastic Vikings defense, it's very blitz heavy, very run focused. Any defense can put any pressure. It's Rams, right? We saw that, and get to him. So for me, it's a no. And Scoop, why I you can continue on why you would say yes. I do think it's fair. But yeah, I think at the same time, you do share my concern in some way. I think everyone here does in some way.
I do. And if I did have, and I think I'll say what I'm pretty sure is obvious, but just for clarification, that my saying that a team I think is playing complementary ball, I'm saying I believe that their offense, defense, and special teams are all are all playing in a manner which is conducive to working with one another to win games.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now, that is not to say that any of these teams don't have holes, and in some cases glaring holes. I do think that your weakness, aside from tackling, is your line, and that is a significant place to be weak.
Especially considering the D lines in the NFC
across
the board.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Exactly. But I am. But what I'll say is, excuse me. At least to this point, it seems that the ways that they're able to win either are able to neutralize some of those deficiencies or have been able to come outright in spite of those deficiencies. So my having 12, 13 weeks or 12, 13 games, depending on your team's case of bye week or whatever, of, in some cases watching the games and in some cases relying on, the information that I can pick together, that kind of is just how I would describe him as playing it if you're looking relative to the other 31 teams in the NFL. I definitely am I decidedly confident that they're a top tier team. No, but quite frankly, what's a top tier team in the NFL this year? Quite frankly, I don't even know yet. I don't even know how to define that right now. So
I don't think we will be able to at all, even through the playoffs.
Right. So just going off of what in my mind is playing complementary football and having both an offense and a defense and a special teams unit that can win more games than not in the NFL, in the present NFL, and not have one be a glaring deficiency in doing so. That's how I'm going with this, and that's where I say Seattle's yes.
Brandon, what do you say to that?
I would say for now, that's a glaring. Yeah, the offensive line and Sam Darnold's struggles with pressure and just changing protections is a massive problem. Because really, there's not many other quarterbacks that have that same problem in the league this year. I think so far.
That's kind of my point. I could not think of a single quarterback, even backups, that have that issue.
So I think they play. What leaves a bad taste in the mouth was the 4 interception game against the Rams, because that's the one thing you worry about going forward is, oh my God, is that going to happen again against a good defense in the playoffs? And it very likely will.
And it very likely could be the Rams in a few weeks when we get that Thursday night game, and the Rams again in the playoffs.
But the thing is, I think outside of that one just mistake, I would say yes. I think because of that game and because it's kind of and now we're seeing a game. We're kind of seeing him, like, as the season goes on, starting to see those kind of holes kind of open up more and more, get more and more glaring. It went from being a yes to now, because of that game and because we've seen it a little bit lately, I'm going to say a slight yes. I'm still going to say yes, but a slight yes. I still think it's good enough. I still think all 3 phases are good enough. It's just, can you fix? I mean, it's a big problem, but can you at least, maybe not fix it, but can you at least mask it enough?
Yeah. And as Scoop said, Seattle's done a good job masking it throughout the year. The question is, can they do that moving forward as we get to these winter months and through December? The Green Bay Packers, Brandon.
They're another one that it's like, when they're on, I say yes. But when they're off, it's really bad.
I will add a caveat. It is Toyotathon, so for that reason, I'm going to say yes. And then I'll say no after Toyotathon.
That's kind of how I feel, just because this is Jordan Love every year, starting off really slow and then finding a way to pick it up, pretty much around Thanksgiving. It's their defense is they're seeing that, but it's weird. What's really weird about that defense is their second, it's almost like the Rams. Their secondary is atrocious, but their D line is fantastic.
And I have said repeatedly on the show that if that D line is consistent, I can absolutely see the Packers hoisting the Lombardi Trophy.
And that's pretty much the only difference between to me, them, defensively at least. That's the only difference between them and the them and the Rams, is because the defensive line for the Rams is just more consistent. The Packers D line kind of hasn't been. They Micah Parsons, basically as he goes, that D line goes. And over the years, especially in Dallas and even now, it's like he's finding his stride now. But it took him a few games. He had a little bit of an acclimation thing. I get that, but he is somebody that it's like he goes ghost at the worst times every year, and we know how that we've seen that for years. So I'm gonna say when they're on, and right now they're on, I'm gonna say yes, but they really scare me when they're off. And the thing is, and especially the last 2 years in the playoffs, they've been off. So in the bigger games, I should say. So I'm worried, but I'm still gonna say yes.
So Scoop just said that Ian Rappaport saying that Pete Carroll could be coaching for his job and tracking to be one and done. I would wait for more information on this, Scoop, but I could see it for sure when it comes. We've talked about this with the Raiders at length. We don't have to do it today, but I absolutely could see it. So I think I see what you're saying on that. Is Scoop muted or?
My bad. It was also substantiation in the report that this was, I guess there were several people in Las Vegas, I forgot my city, that I'm going to Vegas later this week. That's a great look.
Hell yeah.
But anyway, basically a substantiation and doubling down on the reports from a few days ago that basically the offense that was being run was Pete Carroll's offense from Seattle, not Chip Kelly bringing in anything. And
Gross.
And basically Chip Kelly, part of the reason he was fired was for wanting to implement more of his own thing. And basically, I guess there was a conflict over the fact that Chip Kelly thought he was being brought in to run more of his own offense. And basically, I guess Pete Carroll was imposing his own, offense from Seattle on. So I guess that's a big factor as to why things have been undergoing change in Vegas for the umpteenth time. Obviously, with Chip Kelly last week being the second coordinator ousted in Vegas this year.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Brandon.
What doesn't surprise me about that is, of course, we all knew it was a bad move to have those two together, because it's like, what do you expect out of two guys that, well, Chip Kelly more publicly and Pete Carroll more privately, but they both have egos. Pete Carroll wants things done his way, and Chip Kelly always wanted things done his way.
By the way, you know who got Chip Kelly in the room? I don't think we mentioned this on the show. We might have, we might not have. It was Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And so that matters a lot, I think.
Well, and that's what makes me even more surprised by if Tom Brady got him in the room, and if Brady has as much of a say and as much influence in the front office as he is reported to, that's what makes me surprised that Kelly wasn't made the new head coach, as opposed to having,
I mean, I think from what I could gather in the offseason, I think they were comfortable with Pete Carroll because there wasn't many other options, or like clear options. Many other coaches didn't really. Most other coaches, including a Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, I don't think even heavily considered interviewing with the Raiders. Even if they did, it was kind of just, okay, we'll do this interview. That's kind of how it felt to me. And I don't think people in Vegas would have taken lightly to Chip Kelly being the head coach. Mid-season, yeah. No, I hear that as well.
If they were already thinking that he was going to be potentially one and done, and if Brady wanted Kelly in the building so bad, if those two things are both true, why not just make Kelly the head coach if you want to keep him there, and if you already are not looking to keep Pete Carroll? There's something there that's not passing the smell test for me.
The weird thing with the Raiders, and we'll move on after this, that really pissed me off is I was probably one of the only people in America that was watching the Raiders game, and I believe Greg Olson. Not the Greg Olson you guys we all love at Fox.
That always throws me off when I hear that name, and I always have to double check.
It's also spelled differently. Yeah,
I have to double check. Is it an O or is it an E?
Yeah. This is an inside joke about EA Sports.
Yeah, it is.
Which yes. But no. So Greg Olson had a meeting with, I think Spiro Dedes did the game with those guys. And he was like, the goals I want to make with this offense are really simple. Get Ashton Genty the ball more and get the ball to Brock Bowers more. Why didn't you do that in week 1, Brandon? Like what kind of interview question is that? What kind of answer is that?
Why would you expect anything different out of this franchise? What
Yeah.
like Brock Bowers? I feel so bad for that man's being held hostage by a poverty franchise.
Same with
He's
Genty,
like-
even as a rookie.
He's like the AFC version of Kyle Pitts.
Like, well, yeah, but Kyle,
Except Kyle Pitts has actually struggled at times for most of his career, sadly.
yeah, Kyle Pitts had the talent, just never had the hands to go with it. Like it's Brock Bowers. We all said it. I remember even saying it when he came out of college. I'm like, that guy is a monster. That guy's gonna be a star.
Last year, I said this on our Black Friday show last year. That's when I said it. I said Brock Bowers is my rookie of the year. He didn't win it, obviously.
Do you know what's crazy about Brock Bowers right now? We talk about him not getting the ball enough. He's still gonna end up with like 800 yards receiving and like 8 touchdowns. Like that's what's crazy. It is like he's for him being on pretty much one of the 2 worst teams in football. He's still
they're agonizing to watch. They're agonizing even today. Agonizing. But yeah, that's impressive for Brock Bowers. All right, Scoop. What are your thoughts on Green Bay? Are you giving them a yes or no for complimentary football?
Yeah, sorry about that deviation, by the way. But,
no, it's totally fine. I think us crapping on the Raiders is good content, so I'll take it.
I'll say a slight yes for Green Bay, and I know I feel like I've said this about 2 other teams already, but it's the special teams is one area where they've had the issues. Also they gotta be better at run blocking. They gotta get better at expanding that area of the game, especially in the playoffs. Why am I even saying about cold weather in Green Bay? Green Bay is cold weather. That's what they are.
Green Bay is the epitome of cold weather.
Yeah.
Tom Grossi, the guy who obviously is the big Packers fan on YouTube, he said in his community tab today, it was so funny, or I think it might have been a couple days ago. He's like, 2 weeks ago it was 70 degrees. Now it's the most snow I've ever seen in this city in my entire life. It's like, that is perfect Green Bay. And excuse
me. Like, I just shouldn't that be like cold weather football, playoff football 101 is knowing how to not only develop a run game, but how to sustain a running game. And I mean, what did you go out and get Josh Jacobs for?
Even Emmanuel Wilson has been good in that one start that he had. You can even use him in certain spots.
Right, like you went out there to actually make an outside investment, which was, when the telegrams got to the people in Wisconsin, they were all shocked about that because nobody had ever heard of a free agent before in Green Bay.
It's true.
I don't know why they would go and splurge, or at least what was considered a splurge by their standards, and then just not double down on trying to develop this thing that could possibly be the difference maker for them in January. Like, if you're able to have in Green Bay, if you get a home game in Green Bay, excuse me, it's been a long day. If you are able to do that, and then are able to just play keep away and ground control to Major Tom, but ground control with the football, then I don't really know. I don't know why you wouldn't try and do that, and then just have Jordan Love be sort of the third down guy, you know what I'm saying? Like play everything off that play action, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I don't understand why that to me feels like an NFC winning recipe.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I just want to say this. I would love Toyota just for 1 year. Just make Toyotathon just a football season thing,
Oh, and
until February, and just see what happens.
Yeah, watch Jordan Love become the greatest quarterback in the history of the game.
Yes, yeah. I would love that.
I would love that. Good one.
Let's go to the counterparts, the Detroit Lions, who have that big game against the Cowboys, who is next on this list. If you guys want to do both at the same time, go ahead. Scoop.
Okay, so I'll start with the Lions, and as I'm pretty sure I said earlier, I'm still going to say yes. I would like to see a little bit more from their pass blocking, and from just the protection there. I know that things took a little bit of a shift by losing not one but both coordinators. Not going to lie, though, I think that they've done pretty well to, for losing both of those guys in the same offseason. There are a lot of teams that I think would have had a much bigger setback for them than Detroit would. I think that there are a lot of coaches that would have been more disoriented and more struggled with that, at least in the beginning of the season. And sure, they did a little bit, but I think Campbell and the coaches that are in there that have succeeded them, I think that they've done mostly a good job with that in the long run. Yes, I think they have been helped a little bit by the fact that the NFC has been such a cluster. But again, there's no success in the NFL without a little bit of luck at some point. So, but yeah, I definitely, Denver, oh my Lord, Detroit doesn't have anything right now that I look at and say, this is going to be something that's going to that's going to undo them. Some people don't like their fourth down aggressiveness. I can't agree. I can't say that I'm one of those people. I, quite frankly, like I've said before, I'd rather be a team that goes for it too much on fourth down than a team that, we just saw, Brandon, we just saw in, our game last week, leaving points on the board right before the end of the second half. What the hell was that? I hate playing not to win. Wow. I hate playing not to lose rather than playing to win. If you play to win and you regret it once or twice, guess what? There's going to be 3 or 4 times eventually that you're not going to regret it and you're going to be glad you did it.
Yeah. My whole thing with Detroit, funny enough, is the more I think about it, the more I want to go yes. And yes, the secondary is terrible. It really is. But this offense can overcome it.
It has.
And they're
I'm also not sure I hate again in a relative situation, relative to the other 32 teams in the NFL. I'm not sure that their secondary is that horrible compared to the rest of the NFC.
Funny enough, compared to the whole NFL, they're probably in the middle, which is saying a lot.
That's my point.
Yeah, and
quite honestly, and because to win the Super Bowl, you just got to beat what teams are this year. You don't got to beat teams that existed in 2015.
Yeah, and the reality is, I still think this team offensively, because of the new coordinators, even though it's been 13 weeks, I could see them go to the playoffs and have a different gear offensively that can get them to a Super Bowl. I could see that.
Yeah.
So, I'll say yes. It's not a comfortable yes because I still have issues. But
shucks. I haven't said a comfortable yes yet today.
Yeah, no, true. But yeah, still, it's not comfortable. It doesn't feel great, but I'll say yes. Brandon, what say you for Detroit?
I think for me it's a slight yes. The offense can overcome the defensive struggles. In quote unquote big games, they haven't done it, but the national TV games, the game against the Chiefs, they didn't do it. But they can do it. So I would say a slight yes, but as of this current moment, when we sit here tonight, the one thing that really, really, worries me is all going forward is now the health of their offense. Laporte is done for the year, and Amon-Ra doesn't have a serious injury, but it's a short-term injury. It's still it adds up.
It's week to week, yeah.
So for me right now, it's a slight yes. With the injuries, like they can overcome it, but they really don't look great offensively. Obviously, when those guys are out, and then Laporta being out really changes the dynamic of that offense. So hell, we felt his impact, like not being on the field. We felt the impact of his loss in that Philly game. They couldn't move the ball at all, and he would have been that nice safety valve for Goff over the middle of the field and short yardage and whatnot. So, um, without Laporta, the offense changes a little bit. Jahmyr Gibbs has picked up the slack for them, and I expect him to. So Jahmyr Gibbs kind of balances it out with the injuries and the kind of the inefficiencies in the passing game. But I think for now I'll say slight yes. I'm not fully in on them, but I'll say slight yes because their offense can overcome the defense, and even with the injuries, Jahmyr Gibbs can turn it up to help them balance the injuries. So
Yeah. Brandon, you bet on this team to win your division, the Dallas Cowboys.
yeah, I had to listen because you know what my thinking is here. Don't like listen for anybody listening, and for the people that know me, I'm as diehard an Eagle fan as it comes. But at the same time, I'm leaving here with something. Either the Eagles are going to win this division and I lose a little bit of money, but I win in terms of pride and the Eagles being back-to-back division champions, or they lose but I make about $120. So
that being said, does you making money put you at a yes?
Here's the thing. For the whole season, I would have said no. For what they've done since the trade deadline and for how they've responded since the trade deadline, it's a slight yes. It's because the defense has played better in recent weeks. Now a lot of that's also because the teams they play just didn't finish the job on them. But they have played better when they needed to. The offense has looked better than it has for most of the season. They're finally starting to find a groove. CeeDee Lamb early on in the season was slamming his helmet down on the sideline. Pickens was not quite there yet. So it seems like those two have adjusted really well, and they're playing really well now. Javonte Williams still really good. He's not the best running back in the world, but he's making it work. Dak is distributing the ball really well to pretty much all their targets. It's just they are kind of like once again they're another team that's like the Rams. The offense can score a lot. The D line I think is decent. If decent and not good, the Rams D line's better. But the Cowboys D line's decent. The problem is their secondary is complete garbage. Once again, just like the Rams, that secondary is garbage. So it kind of just depends what version of that defense shows up. But right now, I'm gonna say slight yes because it took a while to click, and now that it's clicked, they're looking obviously better than the division front runners. They're looking better than we thought they would this year as a whole. We thought they were going to be just a lost year with Schottenheimer, and all of a sudden they're right in the thick of things. So right now, I'm going to say slight yes.
Go ahead, Scoop. Go ahead on Dallas before I go, actually.
Okay. So, again, it's looking more and more like what we thought to be true about Dallas defense in the beginning of the season is not quite as significant or is not quite as severe as maybe we originally thought it would be. That being said, I still don't trust it enough.
Yeah. Yep.
And so if I don't inherently, like again, complementary football, I can't inherently say a yes to if I inherently don't trust one of the three complements enough. So I'm going to say no. That being said, I do give them credit. I do give Coach Quinn and Coach Eberflus credit. Or I'm sorry, Coach Schottenheimer rather, and Coach Eberflus credit for being a lot more able to tactically outdo the expectations that a lot of people had for them.
Yeah. Funny enough with Dallas, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I still believe that Philly, this division's Phillies to lose.
There's too much ahead because when you look at, Dallas has that tie and everybody talks about the tie, but the thing is, the tie only matters if you match the win record, the win column of the team you're chasing. So in theory, there's still 2 games behind Philadelphia. There's still 2 games behind the wild card, and there's 5 games left.
And Philly also has had the second highest strength of schedule of anybody in the NFC.
Yeah, and now the schedule down the stretch gets easier. You face the Commanders. I mean, that's a division game. You face the injured and lowly Commanders twice. You face
the Raiders.
And you face the Chargers, who don't know if they're starting Justin Herbert next week. And then
if they do, you're still facing, even if you like Justin Herbert, you're still facing a quarterback coming off of a hand surgery less than a week prior.
Yeah, so he's not going to be 100% regardless if he does play the game. And then, so really, when you think about it, even with Philly being as bad as they were the last 2 weeks, there's still a path to win this division. And Dallas has to go into Detroit and beat the Lions, which I don't think they will. And then they do have to play the Chargers. And the Chargers, I think, listen, as much as they're not great, the Chargers-Cowboys, to me, is a much kind of, that's a matchup where I'm like, okay, I can see, because of how bad that secondary is for Dallas and how bad that defense has been, I can see, because that's the difference. Philly's defense against Dallas's defense. Dallas's defense is still not good. It's gotten better. It's still not good. That secondary can't cover. That secondary is not going to cover. I wouldn't think. Keenan Allen, Gadsden, the rookie tight end who's had a great season.
Amazing.
McConkey.
Q and McConkey.
And Quentin Johnston. That's 4 targets they have. They don't have enough to cover those guys. So, I mean, hell, we saw what happened when they did play Philly. And Philly took their foot off the gas, but put up 3 straight touchdown drives on that defense to start the game. And then Philly just said, no, we're not going to play football anymore the rest of the other 2.5 quarters. So if Philly really wanted to, they would have hung 45 on Dallas' defense. So I genuinely think that Dallas, listen, they're making a good comeback, but there's a lot for them to overcome. And that's, and like I said, in theory, you're still 2 games behind the wild card. You're still 2 games behind the division, and there's 5 left. And, you also have to hope that, because honestly, I think the magic number, is a combination of 4, so any combination of 4. So if you get 2 straight Dallas losses, obviously, and 2 straight Philly wins, division's over.
Yeah. So and again, we're looking at 16% per NFL.com right now, which isn't the brightest feeling. Or actually, 16%. So, I think we were all wrong on Schottenheimer. Scoop said this last week, and I had a long, hard thought on it. I was like, damn, we were wrong. He was the right coaching hire. Somehow Jerry figured that out. Probably because he didn't have to use his hot tub. That's probably why. Scoop, do you not know that story? Please tell me you know that story.
Oh, God.
God damn it. So Mike McCarthy, when he was hired by Dallas, right? The day before, like the couple of days before, he was at Jerry's house, and they just sat in the hot tub for a bunch of hours. And that's basically why he got hired, was the hot tub conversation.
Yeah.
Or partially.
What in
the Jerry world? You didn't know this story? I can't believe you didn't know this one. So no. It's Dallas folklore. So yeah, if you wonder why Mike McCarthy didn't work, it's because of the bathtub. Or hot tub.
See, I thought it was literally because if you guys remember his intro press conference.
Oh, McCarthy's? Yeah, I know it wasn't good.
Yeah, I mean, people say that this guy had a bad press conference, like Dan Campbell or Nick Sirianni. I think a bad press conference is basically saying you lied about what you said in your interviews.
Even though maybe he got drunk in the hot tub. Anyway, but Schottenheimer worked. But yeah, I just don't see it. It's a no. I think this team is going to be a lot more fun next year if they can fix the defensive pieces.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see how the NFL changes in the offseason. There's a lot of things that can happen, but they're in a good shape.
Well, let me
But it is a no.
rephrase what I was saying. I said, for recent games, it's a slight yes. For overall for the season, it's a no, and it's a hard no.
Yeah, and Scoop, for you, it's a no as well, correct?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't like their defense. So inherently, if I don't like their defense, it's automatically a no.
Yeah. Carolina Panthers deserve to be in this discussion.
Yeah, they're closer to the playoffs than the Cowboys are.
Actually, it's the same percentage right now, but
it
does feel
yeah,
better.
Think about the division. So
the division, yeah, they have a shot.
You know what? Well, I'm gonna say a slight no, and that's only because their kicking game is not great. It's so because I think the defense is just good enough, and I think the offense is just good enough. I think they do work in tandem. A lot of their wins lately have been the defense kind of forcing kind of critical stops, and their offense getting something out of the drives, whether usually a field goal or chewing clock or whatever it is. So Enrico Daddle's been great. Nice job, Cowboys. If you would have kept him, you'd be way better this year.
Way better.
So I'm gonna say no, only because the kicking game is just not. It's not there. And the thing is, when you don't have a kicking game, and then when your team is already kind of like in that middling, like 500 zone, to where 1 week you looked really good and 1 week you looked really bad. Like this week they looked really good. Last week was really bad. So it's like, we're kind of going back and forth every week. What it feels like with the Panthers, even when they win these games, they've had a lot of good wins over this stretch, and they've had a lot of just like ugly ones. So it's not great overall. So I'm gonna say no. And the thing that what really puts it over the top, like I said, is the kicking game.
Yeah, for me, it's a no. Just I'm not seeing anything special about Bryce Young. I think long term that's going to be tough to kind of figure out. But for the short term, that's probably my major reason. I like Tetero. I like the running game. But the rest of it, it's just kind of a mess. So it's a no. Scoop?
I'm going to say no, but for... Damn it. But for different reasons
The phone drop on a Monday morning. Good morning.
It's 2:00 in the morning. It just turned 2:00 in the morning on the East Coast, by the way.
Yeah. But I'm going to say no, but for different reasons than you guys just said. I've seen them be successful in all three phases of the game and be productive and be, give me reason to be, quote unquote, in on them in each facet of the game. The problem is that I haven't seen them in all three phases of the game at once.
I think that's fair. Yeah,
that's accurate. Yeah,
you can go back to the last prior to today. You can go back to the last. The last 5 games they've won, which goes back to week 5, and in 4 of those games the offense did pretty well, but in 3 of those games the defense played poorly. And in the game that the defense played best, the offense didn't show up. So it's like a game of whack-a-mole where you're putting one guy's head down and then another one comes up. So if I can get them back-to-back a couple games where, even if they lose one of them, where I can see promising production from all 3 phases of the game, or at least just not poor production from one of those phases, then they're another team where, not nearly as much as Philly, but they're another team where there's room for my answer to change. Yeah. But I give them immense credit, and I give Dave Canales immense credit for having them overperform. I won't even say overperform, but having them deserve more respect than I think people would have believed 13 weeks ago. But again, you got to give me all 3 in a couple of these wins. You just do. For me
I
to
still
pick-
can't. I still can't believe what they were 1-4, right? Through
Yeah.
5 games. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, definitely warranting, immense respect for winning, 6 of 9 and 7 of 11. But I again, I complimentary football is different than a good record, and um, I need to see these things playing off of one another more rather than one is kind of overcoming the shortcomings of another.
Yeah. I fully agree there. Teams on the outside looking in, one of them is very fun, and that's the Atlanta Falcons. One is not very fun, and that's the Minnesota Vikings. That quarterback
No.
situation is beyond repair at this point. And then we just saw the Commanders play a fun overtime game.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, Scoop, if you have anything to say on those 3.
I mean, I think the Vikings are an obvious no. I think they're kind of the NFC version of the Steelers, where you say complimentarily bad.
Yes, accurate. Yes.
Please remind me the other 2 teams you said.
The Falcons and the Commanders.
Yeah, Falcons. You know how they have those penalties where the referee will say everybody but the center. Well, the Falcons have everybody but the quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you just put in. I say you put in the hardest position to get right on the NFL field. Like this is every year we say that there's a team where you just plug in the right quarterback and they're ready to win playoff games. That's how I feel about Atlanta.
And that's why Atlanta is a trap game every week. You can never count them out.
Yeah. And I still don't love the Raheem Morris coaching staff, but I think that this team can at least be a playoff team with the right quarterback with Raheem Morris there. Because I'm more willing to be optimistic on his staff for seeing some of the wins they've pulled out this year. Because I don't think a bad coach, I don't think a coach as bad as we thought Raheem Morris was, I don't think pulls out some of those wins.
Yeah. And then the Commanders, anything there?
Excuse me. I just, again, another team where I think that their offense is more holding up the bottom for their defense rather than they're working with one another. And what I dislike about that in particular is the fact that Dan Quinn's a defensive backgrounded coach. I don't want, even though I think it's so weird to me when I like a coach as a head coach, but their side of the ball also got worse during your time as head coach. Like that's just such a weird combination for me. Feels kind of Robert Saleh-ish, where I liked him, which ironically they both came from Seattle, didn't they? Wasn't Rob Saleh in Seattle at one point?
He was in Seattle for a period, but mostly San Francisco. I think that's where your head's at more so because that's where I always.
It's still the NFC West.
It's just NFC West.
But I did think that he was in Seattle at one point though.
I don't remember. He might have, but I always think of him as San Francisco.
Maybe I'm wrong, but anyway, that was more anecdotal than anything. But yeah, it just kind of reminded me of that where some people liked what he did as a head coach in New York, including myself, but his defense also declined while he was there. And I'm kind of seeing similar with Dan Quinn, where I like what he's done as head coach, but their defense has gotten worse. And that's something I struggle with. And so that's also kind of hard for me to get past. So I'm a no.
Yeah. Anything on the Falcons, Vikings, and Commanders, Brandon?
Well, just to clear things up, Robert Saleh was on the Seahawks staff for I think 2 seasons. It says here, but the thing is, he didn't have a big role. He was defensive quality control coach. So
for Saleh,
okay. So I was right, but not for the reasons I thought. Okay.
Yeah. Minnesota, whatever. That's just a mess completely. Even doesn't matter who was quarterbacking there. Like I know JJ's been hurt, but when JJ was playing, he was god awful.
Everything was wide. Everything.
Like wide, not seeing the field. Everything with JJ. This is what I said. I told people this. Now it's the one thing it's the one thing I hold over Adam's head because Adam loved JJ coming out of college. I said, bro, JJ's nothing but a handoff merchant. Stop it. He can't throw a football.
Handoff merchant.
Because that's what he was in Michigan. He didn't throw the football. So,
What? Wait, remind me. Blake Corum was their running back, right?
Yeah. What was the other one?
I don't remember. I remember Corum was their primary. I can't think at the moment.
But yeah, either way. And their defense was fantastic there. So, but yeah,
you said the other running back for the
for that Wolverine title team.
Yeah, was that 2023?
Was that the right year?
What's his?
Yes. Was that was Donovan Edwards, wasn't it?
That's it. Yep.
That's it. He was on the CFB cover. Why did I forget that?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have CFB yet, unfortunately.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Donovan
Edwards. That is gonna be widely considered one of the worst covers ever because the only one that was good on that cover was Hunter. Yours was like okay that year, and then Edwards. But anyway,
but that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, so Minnesota is just a dumpster fire. I mean, when Philly played them, they had a top 5 defense in the league, but that was very early in the season. So, yeah, but since that point, actually, it's funny. I think we broke them, believe it or not. After that, it just started a tailspin. We're just straight down.
You saw some of the signs week 1 against Chicago. That always kind of sticks with me a little bit.
Yeah, I did. But yeah, so yeah, defense not great, offense not great. Like they're the one that another one, complimentary bad.
Yeah.
But and pretty much all the way around.
We've had that phrase work several times this show, and I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
But the other one you said was Atlanta.
Atlanta and Washington.
Yeah, Atlanta hasn't had a kicking game all year. Atlanta hasn't had a quarterback pretty much all year. They have a good enough defense, and the rest of their offensive weapons are nice, but not a great O-line, not a good quarterback situation, not a good coaching staff, and not a good kicking game. So that's easy, no. And then Commanders, I mean, it's tough because you have to deal with the quarterback injury. But even when Jaden Daniels was playing, they still didn't look good. So offensively, it was bad. Kicking game, another one where kicking game hasn't been great. Defense obviously hasn't been great, so they're just battle around. And then Dan Quinn. I mean, listen, Dan Quinn. I get he's had success in this league, but he outside of his Seahawks run, but
last year,
but that defense was loaded with talent. But good old Dan Quinn is nothing but a choker when it matters. Choked in Atlanta, choked in Dallas, choked even tonight in that first drive of OT. Just didn't have them coming out ready to play in that OT late. It seems like every big moment that they need a defensive minded head coach to really rally his troops and his defense. Dan Quinn can't get it done.
Dan Campbell and Dan Quinn might fit together.
Whoa.
Dan Quinn just the guy outside of his Seahawks run is nothing but a choker. That's what he is. So and it's not even sometimes it's not even choking because the defense is bad. I mean, that's a lot of the times, but he's supposed to be a defensive minded head coach. These problems shouldn't exist. But then also, it's not even the chokes in terms of defense. It's the chokes because he has brain farts. Like you got your quarterback killed for basically the season because you wouldn't take him out in a blowout. You were up 28-3. Everyone knows this one. You're up 28-3 against the Patriots, and you just sat back the rest of the game, figuring it was over. Did nothing. Lost the game. Choked it. Then
and threw the ball too many times.
yeah, being kind of like either too aggressive or too conservative. You can't. You just can't win football games that way when every time it comes down. I mean, hell, this is the same thing we're in Dallas, where Dallas would seemingly have a game wrapped up and in the fourth quarter give the ball back in a bad spot to a team and then blow it. And then, here comes Dallas's offense back down the field again, whatever it was. It's like, that he's put his own defenses, which he's responsible for, in so many bad situations, whether it's because of awareness of the clock, awareness of the situation, or just the fact that he just doesn't put them in the right positions to make plays. So the Commanders all three of these teams is an easy no. And I think the Commanders battled admirably tonight, but it's an easy no. I don't like really any of those coaching staffs. I mean, on paper, the Minnesota one should be better than what it is, but Kevin O'Connell is really just a quarterback whisperer and nothing else. He doesn't do anything else.
And even that can be debated.
Yeah, and even that's like, ooh. So, especially now, given the situation now. So, yeah, those three teams are easy no's.
Yeah. We would like to say goodbye to the Arizona Cardinals, the New Orleans Saints, and the New York Giants. Scoop, for post-grad scene today, we were going to do some other stuff. Obviously, we want to talk about Lane Kiffin. We'll do it tomorrow. Just to get Shane here and his thoughts. And then just some other stuff that I had lined up. It's too late. We're not going to do any of that. But damn Commanders. But I did want to get your whirlwind of a day. I need this logged while it's like fresh in your memory because it happened today, or I guess it's the next morning. But I wanted this whole log because this is probably the most insane day, and it's all because of course, your wonderful cat Pringles, who never ceases to amaze me.
Well, so here's the thing. That whole intro you were giving, I didn't know if you were talking about because of the Browns. I didn't know if you were talking about because of Pringles. I didn't know what the hell you were going to say.
All of it.
I mean, honestly, just give me all of it. I mean, you did the Browns part. Give me all of it.
Yeah, so anyway. So for those who are watching and didn't know, was in Cleveland there to celebrate and honor my grandfather's life. My grandfather passed away at the age of 87 6 months ago. His birthday is actually coming up this week. We'll be actually on air the day of his birthday. So,
oh my God, that's
wow!
Laugh it up.
Wow.
Yeah. What is that? Is that Monday or Thursday? Is that gonna be Thursday?
That's gonna be Thursday. So we're gonna have both WTS and that. So very grateful for that one.
That's gonna be amazing. That's gonna be amazing.
But
good way to honor for sure.
My mom's side of the family, we were all together, and sorry, computer thing started to die off or like go to sleep. But anyway, so we left the hotel. We were we were getting ready to leave the hotel. We were gonna and the plan was to take Pringles. Pringles, for those who don't know, is my cat. Had her for about 2 months.
Everyone knows about your cat who watches this show because your cat hijacks it every day.
True, but again, I don't know how many people are first time watchers. Anyway, don't mean to keep
welcome
dragging
those of you who are. But
yes, but so and the plan was because she couldn't get into Cleveland Browns Stadium or not Highmark Stadium. What am I saying? Holy crap, Huntington Bank Stadium. They change it every year, but
dumb name for a stadium.
Yeah. So we were gonna go take her to a kind of cat motel, whatever you want to call it, and have her there.
I can't believe that's a thing. I can't believe that's a thing. That's amazing. That's a real thing.
Have her there for a few hours, pick her up, and then head out of here, or head out of there rather. Problem is that. So my uncle and aunt headed out around 10, and we were going to be right behind them. My uncle and my two aunts, excuse me, they were all together. and we went. I already had everything prearranged. The last part of the thing, obviously, was to get Pringles into the carrier. And this has never been too much of an issue for me. Obviously, it's never an easy task to get a cat into a carrier. But this particular day, I don't know what it was. I don't know if she had a nightmare about the thing this morning. I don't know if she was still just pissed off about something that I did yesterday. I didn't give her enough treats or something. But this kitten would not go any freaking where near the travel carrier. I did not matter if I was the one trying to get her, if my mom was the one trying to get her, if we were both trying to do it. She was going behind the couch, she was going under the couch, she was going underneath the hotel bed, she was going behind the hotel bed, she was going between the bed and the bed frame. I don't even know how the hell she got there.
Flexible cat.
And non-flexible human. Yeah. So not a great match. But anyway, so that whole deal went around, and then so we were doing that. That started at what, like I said, like 10, 15 maybe, if that. We were still doing that until close to noon.
Oh my
This
god!
Wow.
was a 2-hour ordeal. I literally had to cancel the cat hotel thingy, call the concierge of our present hotel, and say, "Hey, can't get my cat out of here. Got to get to the Browns game. Can you help us out?" So they worked with us, thank God, and we ended up getting out of there. Then we actually get into the car and get on our way to the stadium. And the first of all, Browns Stadium human folk. How the hell, if you are the only interesting thing happening in Cleveland today, do you have one lane of traffic open around the stadium? In Cleveland, Ohio? How is this even a possibility? And we had parking passes.
I'm coughing. That is so funny.
We had parking passes. And every person I called was saying, follow the signs, follow the signs. Half the signs are covered by 8 inches of snow, and the other half look like they were written by a third grader. I do not know what half of these things say. And the ones that I can read have nothing to do with parking. So that was another 45-minute ordeal trying to figure out how to park, where to park, and then how to get from parking to the building. Then, of course, those who don't know, I'm physically handicapped, had to call and try and make arrangements to meet the wheelchair. In order to meet the wheelchair, you have to walk to the other end of the parking lot, walk across the street, and then walk across an unplowed sidewalk.
Oh my god.
Listen to that sentence again. To get a wheelchair, you have to walk across a parking lot, cross a street, and then walk through an unplowed snowbank.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing with the money that you are no longer paying to Deshaun Watson?
I mean, technically they are paying it.
Yeah.
I thought his cap hit was cleared by now. I'm sorry.
Oh
But
no,
anyway.
it's an albatross.
Oh, it's still out there. So yeah, so all that was going on, and then yeah, we sat down. When we finally sat down, literally a matter of seconds later, there was the first touchdown for Cleveland and the 2-point conversion. So we couldn't have sat down at a better time, and we were all fired
Amazing
up. We were all,
seats, by the way. Amazing. So good. I was wow.
Shout out to I think it was my uncle who chose the seats, but whoever it was in my family, I'm very grateful that we had such the actual football watching experience was fantastic. And I would highly recommend going to, just the stadium atmosphere as a fan was great. I highly recommend it for any, football fan, Browns fan, absolutely, obviously.
Dog Pound does it right. It's sad that their
Dog
team
Pound
is
was
awful.
great. The reason why my voice is so screwed up right now is because I was screaming at those Dog Pound chants.
Yes.
But yeah, again, just I was obviously disappointed that they didn't win. I was hoping Shador would get to have get to show a little bit more today. But again, I was grateful to see they played the defense as well as they did. And I'm hoping that some of the positives that they've shown this season, I hope that they can be built on. But we got good seats. We got really good seats. My grandfather got the best seat in the house. So
Yeah. All right. Anything else on that scoop, or is that all you had?
no, I again just appreciate you guys letting me talk about it a little bit.
Mhm.
First time
I'll say
everyone's gone to a game on the show. Pretty cool. I'm
yeah.
not even gonna lie, even as a fan, pretty cool.
I'll try and put some pictures up on Thursday um for the show if that works out and if
Oh
I have
yeah,
any.
yeah, I
But
would love that.
but yeah, no, it was definitely. And then on the backside of it, when we got out of the stadium, leaving was surprisingly easy. I expected that to be terrible, but leaving was surprisingly easy. Getting into the snowstorm on the last 45 minutes or the last 2 hours of the drive obviously wasn't, but that had nothing to do with Cleveland nor the Browns. And then I get back to the hotel to pick up Pringles, and she's literally just standing there waiting for us. Like, I'm like, you couldn't be kept down with, Gorilla Glue when we were here this morning, and now you're just sitting here waiting like a star pupil, like you're sitting here like this, and I'm just like, I couldn't believe what I was watching, and and it took me another 30 minutes to get her rounded up there, and like I'll tell you, the I wish that I had been on that field today because for the two fumbles on Cleveland, I was not fumbling this cat. This cat is no matter how much she was scratching or clawing at me or whatever, I was holding on to her like my life depended on it because at that point it felt like it did because I did feel so bad for her when she got in the carrier because I get being in a carrier in a car for a young kitten, for as much as she was the last 2 days, I can only imagine how difficult that is. And I don't, disregard that at all. But oh my goodness! But she got home, she got fed, she got back to her normal surroundings, and she was back to causing craziness. And then probably the funniest part of it all had yet to even happen. I'm going to open up this literally as I started the show. You saw me trying to open up my drink. I was drinking like a coffee, and I punctured a straw.
The amazing Starbucks Frappuccinos, right? Is that what it is, or the cappuccinos?
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
those a lot.
So I tried to puncture my straw, accidentally dropped it. Pringles comes over, picks up the straw like a dog with a bone, and is just running it around with it in her teeth, shredding the paper with her teeth as she's running around, doing laps around the table, and is just like throwing the stick with or the straw with her neck, and then running after it and picking it up. She's playing fetch with herself with a straw.
Of course, you use a straw for those drinks. Is that a good way to drink those?
I mean, I couldn't get a top off, so I couldn't get the top off. So the only way I was drinking it was puncturing the damn thing.
Getting the top off of those sucks. It's so
usually
tightly
Usually I can do it. Usually I can do it. This one was a pain in the ass, but yeah, no, she was just one adventure after another, obviously, as per usual. But between I think I got enough steps in for all 5 days for the amount of time that I spent chasing her this morning, and then just watching her at the end while I was setting up for this show, and I couldn't tell what she had in her mouth, and then I realized she was holding the straw like a bone in her teeth. I was like, what the f-? If you guys have ever seen Lilo and Stitch, I swear this Stitch is just this cat in a different form.
Yeah, it pretty much is, honestly.
Anyway, that's all I've got.
What a fun cat. Oh my lord. Oh my goodness.
Like
Well,
she's like the mascot of the show at this point.
oh yeah, honestly.
But
Well,
that's all I've got. So thanks, guys.
Anything else, Brandon? Before we go.
Well, we're talking about the football experience, right? So while you guys were talking about Cleveland being a good stadium to go to, and for anybody listening, don't go to MetLife. I live 15 minutes from it. We've said this before. Don't go to MetLife. MetLife's a garbage experience for any kind of sporting event.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did you still smoke at your house?
What do you mean?
Okay, I'm gonna explain what I mean. The only takeaway I got from Jets Falcons today was every time they scored a touchdown, they had every time the Jets scored a touchdown, there was a gazillion amount of pyrotechnics. The whole stadium was filled in smoke.
For some god awful reason, and I don't understand why, but it seems to be a very Northeast thing that we launch off pyro. Like we must have an absurd budget for pyro. And they just
I don't understand. This was the first time I saw it. I was like, why is there so much smoke in this damn stadium in a 3-point game? What are we doing?
It happens every game. And I don't know why. It doesn't benefit anybody. It looks stupid.
I mean, to be fair, you could still smell smoke at freaking at the Brown Stadium. It just was in the friggin' restrooms from the guys getting high.
Well,
oh my god.
Well, I mean, the only redeeming qualities I will say about MetLife Stadium as someone who's been in there 1,000 times is concerts are good there, but don't go to a sporting event there. Sporting events there suck every year.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and not just the fact they suck, but they are way overpriced.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
One of my life's goal for the show, because you could apparently do this at MetLife, and we're gonna do it at one point. I'm gonna find a way to get it done. I'm gonna book MetLife, the whole stadium, just for us to do a show there. I'm gonna book the whole damn thing. We're just gonna be right on midfield book the whole thing.
That's a good use of it. So like,
yeah.
I always tell people not because I'm an Eagles fan, but because I've been there and it was glorious, and the plain and simple, the link is gorgeous.
It is.
The link is gorgeous. And
that's how I feel about. I haven't been to Lumen since 2012 because I went there.
Help me out. What's Lumen?
Lumen Field is our stadium.
Mariners.
Seahawks.
Seahawks. Yeah, that.
It's called Lumen, which is stupid. So I don't blame.
I thought there was a different. I remembered it by a different name.
CenturyLink or Quest, but CenturyLink they changed their company name to Lumen for some stupid reason. I have no flipping idea.
It's still the same company, just different company name.
Just a different company name. Beautiful stadium.
I even think CenturyLink's a better company name than Lumen, but whatever.
Oh my god, you're speaking my language. No, but I've been there once in like 2012. I was there. I was there for a Seahawks practice this year. I love not only that, I was there for that, and then I was there for a Seattle Reign game and a Sounders game this year. The first 200 levels are amazing. The 300 level is the fucking worst 300 level in the entire world. I hate it.
Well, see,
I genuinely hate. It's not as bad as Barclays because Barclays Center is just this. But it's pretty close. I hate the 300 level at Lumen Field. I
actually like Barclays Center. I actually like Barclays Center.
I'm talking about the 300 level where it's like massively, like it's weirdly leaning. I feel like I look at it and I'm like,
I sat in the 300 level for Dwayne Wade's last game there when they played the Miami Heat, and
was it good? Is it fine?
I mean, again, I had no frame of reference. It was my first NBA game, but I enjoyed. I've been to Barclays either 2 or 3 times, and I enjoy this experience there. I wasn't in 300 for all those times though. I was at what the hell was that?
0.
Brandon will never go to a Nets game until they're good again.
Yep.
He just will not do it, which I respect.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lumen's fine. The first 200 levels are good. Although I'm gonna be real honest, the best time to go to Lumen is not a Seahawks game. It's a Sounders or a Seattle Reign game.
That I can understand. Yeah.
Like soccer there, the atmosphere. Hell, even for a Reign game, which I was like, there were like kids, and it was just the cornucopia of like, because it was free tickets. You know what I mean?
That's such an aptly named team.
The Seattle Reign. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
no, but
I'm confused. The Seattle Reign are what?
The Seattle Reign are our women's team, the NWSL team, and then the Sounders are our MLS team.
I know the Sounders only because of you. But okay, that makes sense.
The Reign, so like I even a Reign game, I was like, because I did the free ticket promotion for both the Sounders and the Reign this year. I was like, even for a Reign game, I was like, holy shit, I really love this. The atmosphere is pretty great, even for women's soccer. I mean, it's pretty damn great. So
yeah,
that's what I would say.
I will say that is a fire name, the Seattle Reign.
It is pretty good.
Oh Jesus, a fire name.
I didn't even think that through. That one I didn't even think through.
But listen, I might be tired, but I'll catch that one. But at the same time, like, you know what I was doing just now, because while we're talking about stadiums, like 5-ish minutes ago, I was looking because I still want to go to Eagles Raiders. The tickets are still stupid.
I mean,
like,
yeah, because the Eagles and they're a Super Bowl contender, yeah.
But Eagles Raiders, why is it still $300 for one ticket to sit on top, all the way on top?
I mean, I think I've told you all this a few years ago, and this was when neither team was very good. This was when the Eagles weren't a Super Bowl contender, and it was when the Patriots had already lost Tom Brady. The Eagles-Patriots, I think it was like week 13 that year. The game was more expensive than it was for me to go to the playoffs that year to see the Yankees.
What?
Yeah, Yankee Stadium.
It's crazy. That's crazy. I will also say, please feel free to check out our Twitter page. I want to give a quick plug to that because this morning I reposted. Brandon got quote tweeted about Jalen Hurts by Kurt Warner himself.
Hang on. What did Kurt Warner say about Jalen Hurts? I haven't seen the tweet.
Yeah. So, do you want me to read the tweet? I'm going to read it right now. It's kind of amazing because it's kind of incredible how articulate it was.
Did you see what Kurt? Not to me, but did you see when you said originally to the guy that was talking crap about?
No, do you want to explain the whole thing? Then go ahead because I didn't see the first part of it.
So I only sent you my quote tweet that's like saying that I agree with Kurt.
And I reposted that on our show account, which you can check out easily.
So Kurt pretty much, there was a guy that was showing the Eagles tape from the game against the Bears and was saying, hey, Jalen Hurts is not a good quarterback, yada yada yada, missing open receivers, like all these crazy things. It was this. It was a guy. It was one of the guys, and actually an actual NFL quote unquote insider. You guys might know him, Chase Senior. He posted a thing. He said, "Man, Jalen Hurts is not seeing the field well at all. This is hard to watch from Baldy because Baldy, Brian Baldinger was breaking it down, and so
he's great at that, by the way.
So what Kurt Warner was saying, Kurt Warner had said this. He said, please don't. He said, Jalen went exactly, this is what Kurt Warner said, please don't. Jalen went to exactly the right place and really the only place he can go to in their offense versus, I guess, whatever coverage it was, and with the pressure in his face, and says they just miscommunicated on the route, but Jalen Hurts did everything else right. So then that's when I said, and then you can go from there. I said, thank you, Kurt. I'm tired of the Jalen Hurts slander. And then you can read what Kurt said to me.
Which I thought was really amazing.
Because he was agreeing with me. He was agreeing with me too, so that was cool.
I think the funniest part about the whole thing was I was like, because I was up, because I just can't, I'm having trouble sleeping during Thanksgiving and the holidays because of all this damn football. My head is spinning. So it's like 4 or 5 o'clock Pacific time. I'm like, why the hell is Kurt Warner tweeting at Brandon, he's 100% in the hair and makeup chair at NFL Network because he's about to go live in like an hour and a half. So what is happening here? I was like, I can't believe Kurt Warner is.
I didn't expect him to say anything. Like, I know he responds to people, right? But I was like, all I said was like, all I did was quote. I didn't quote tweet Kurt and give him something to reply to. All I said was, "Thank you, Kurt. You're basically seeing it my way."
No, and we appreciate it, but I was like, wait, is Kurt Warner one of those guys? Because the hair and makeup people at NFL Network are amazing. They're probably the best in the business at what they do. I've seen so many behind the scenes of what they do. It's amazing. I'm like, is this guy just in the hair and makeup chair at NFL Network, just tweeting the whole time? Like, what is happening? Because I was like, I can guarantee you he's either in the hair and makeup chair or he's having a bit of breakfast or he's hanging with the guys. He's doing something at NFL Network. And I'm like, that I wasn't mind blown that he tweeted at you. I was like, this is sick, but also this guy's about to what?
He's been tweeting all day. His last tweet was like a half hour ago.
But my issue, but not issue, but my thing, I was like, dude, he's about to go live on NFL Network in an hour. What the hell is this guy doing? But I appreciate it. Please don't. Jay, this is what Kurt Warner said. That's
the one I read. Yeah.
Oh, that's that one. Where's the? I didn't repost the other one. I'm an idiot for that.
The other one, his response to Brandon, I have it right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, please go for it because for some reason I didn't quote tweet that. Go for it.
He says, "Here's the thing, Brandon. Why am I following Kurt Warner and not Brandon?"
Oh, that's sad. No. How is that possible?
It's fine.
Oh wait, no, wait. I got it. So actually, you can say it. Go ahead.
It says, "Here's the thing, Brandon. I'm okay with anybody being critical of a player when they truly know what's going on, and as a QB, their mistake is something most guys at their level should do. But I guess I'm the QB police on here in terms of players being slandered. Harsh word, but I'll use for this. For things that someone doesn't truly understand or that isn't anywhere close to being easily done. I want to honest takes." This doesn't make sense, but this doesn't make sense. But what I think he means is all I want is honest takes from people who know the ins and outs, so people can get an accurate, informed decision on what's legit and what's not.
Yeah,
I think what's funny is there's another person who replied to your thing to Kurt Warner saying, "In closing, fans shouldn't form an opinion until Kurt Warner says you can. So you got a stamp of approval." Which is amazing, and then Kurt Warner replies, "Not at all. You come from anytime.
If it's the right one.
If it's the right one." We both had to say it at the same time. It was so good. No, everything about this interaction. Number one, it's so Kurt Warner, right? It's just him. It's wholesome. It's great. And number two, he basically has said what we've said on this show about the Eagles all the way through the year.
Yeah. So like at that point, anybody telling me I don't know football or we don't know football, I just got a stamp of approval from an NFL Hall of Famer. I would shut your mouth.
From a quarterback, by the way, about a quarterback.
From a quarterback, not from any NFL Hall of Famer to talk about Jalen Hurts. No, a quarterback talking about.
Why do I don't know. For some reason, I always confuse Kurt Warner with Steve Young.
It's kind of.
I could see it.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. So I reposted that. Yeah. I reposted that whole exchange on our Twitter page, Football After Hours NFL. You can follow us there as well. I think I have all of us somewhere in there. But yeah, I reposted that. If you want to see that whole interaction pretty much in full, it's right there for you. But yeah, pretty amazing stuff. Honestly, pretty cool.
I love it.
Cool.
It's the last thing I expected to wake up to. I literally quote tweeted him. I just said what I had to say, and every guy I quote tweet, like nobody responds to me. I'm like, I just do it just to prove my point even more that I try to make. And when I literally go off my phone for like 5 minutes, didn't even check Twitter again. I come back and I see a notification. I'm thinking, okay, maybe somebody just liked it or whatever it was, like my quote tweet, and then see, oh yeah, Kurt Warner reposted your tweet. I was like, what?
Yeah, it's so funny.
It's so funny. It's so good. That being said,
oh, sorry. Also, no,
go Scoop. Sorry.
No, also going to say is I was sitting in the car because again I was spent 2 hours in the car one way, an hour another, and then 5 hours another. And I was scrolling through our group chat, and I was just randomly I'm trying to I'm the kind of person who I'll sort of skim, and then I'll lock in if there's something that looks particularly oh, I really need to get every detail of this. And then I saw that, and I was like, how much time was I off my phone?
Last
The
thing,
amount of shit that happened.
last thing I'll say, Kurt Warner, you have an opening invitation to come on this show. Please do.
Yeah.
If you have any inkling to come on and talk Eagles with us or anything, please do. We would love to have you.
Oh my gosh,
100%. So
I could ask that man questions all day.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely. We would if there's any possible way with this interaction that we can get Kurt Warner on
I
the
just
show.
want to DM and be like, hey, bro, like,
Come on, man. We'd love to have you. So yeah. That's
and
all I
if
got.
not, and if not, see if you can go get a job on the Philly staff.
oh my goodness, please. Quarterback coach Kurt Warner.
Oh, that'd be fire.
Oh my god, I would miss him as a commentator. But anyway, that's all we got for Scoop, for Brandon, for myself. Thank you to all those of you who have stayed up, including Scoop and Brandon, who have stayed up until 3 a.m.
Almost
Eastern.
3 o'clock in the morning.
How long
is
is
this show?
This show is what, about 2 hours? 2:15, 2:20?
We went 2:25 today.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is definitely a little bit closer to the. Yeah, and I've been up since 8 o'clock.
No, I wasn't expecting this. Well, you know what? At least we have one more show tomorrow. Giants Patriots. Boo! Oh.
Yeah,
And then,
we're gonna be on pretty early after I get home from work. That's
Yeah.
what
Usual
This would
suspects
have been a
tomorrow.
really great. Oh, sorry.
Usual suspects tomorrow. We have Shane doing a Minnesota defense breakdown. We're going to talk about Lane Kiffin. So we got a lot of good stuff for tomorrow besides the game. Scoop, go ahead. What you were going to say?
I have no freaking idea.
Okay, you're fine. We're so done. All right. For Scoop, Brandon, for myself, Robert, thank you for joining us on this early morning. Have a great rest of your morning. Have a great rest of your day. And we'll see you in approximately, I don't know, a few hours from now or however long. Peace out, everybody.
Happy Cyber Monday, by the way.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
Go get some better deals than Black Friday.
Won't be that difficult.
All right. Yes. Peace out, everybody.